Have your legs started to feel weaker than they did a few years ago? Perhaps standing up from a chair takes more effort. Maybe climbing stairs leaves your thighs tired, or you have noticed stiffness, tingling, nighttime cramps, or a growing sense that your balance is not as steady as it used to be. These changes are common after the age of 60, but they should not automatically be dismissed as an unavoidable part of getting older. Age does affect muscle mass, nerve function, balance, circulation, and recovery. However, nutrition also plays an important role. In some people, low levels of certain vitamins can contribute to weakness, numbness, poor coordination, bone loss, or an increased risk of falling. Today, I want to discuss 3 vitamins that are often connected with muscle, nerve, and bone health: vitamin B12, vitamin D, and vitamin K. Before we begin, I need to make one point very clear. Vitamins are not a quick cure for weak legs. They cannot replace strength training, adequate protein, good sleep, or medical care. And taking more of a vitamin does not automatically produce better results. The goal is not to collect supplements. The goal is to identify what your body may be missing and correct it safely. Leg weakness can have many causes, including arthritis, nerve compression, diabetes, circulation problems, medication side effects, thyroid disorders, anemia, neurological conditions, or loss of muscle from inactivity. Sudden weakness affecting only one side, severe pain, chest discomfort, shortness of breath, or difficulty speaking requires prompt medical attention. With that in mind, let us begin with vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is essential for healthy nerves, red blood cell production, and normal movement. Your brain depends on nerves to send clear electrical messages to the muscles in your hips, thighs, calves, and feet. Those messages allow you to stand, walk, adjust your balance, and react quickly if you begin to stumble. When B12 levels become too low, nerve signaling can gradually deteriorate. Some people first notice tingling or numbness in their feet. Others describe burning sensations, unusual sensitivity, leg stiffness, poor coordination, or a feeling that their feet are not landing where they expect them to. A B12 deficiency may also cause fatigue and weakness because the body cannot produce healthy red blood cells efficiently. When oxygen delivery is reduced, everyday activities can feel more demanding. Older adults have a higher risk of B12 deficiency because absorption often becomes less efficient with age. Vitamin B12 in food must first be released with the help of stomach acid. It then needs to bind with a protein called intrinsic factor before it can be absorbed. As we grow older, the stomach may produce less acid. Certain digestive conditions can also interfere with absorption. Long-term use of acid-reducing medications may increase the risk, and metformin, a commonly used diabetes medication, can lower B12 levels in some people. This means a person may eat fish, meat, eggs, or dairy products and still have difficulty absorbing enough B12. People who follow a vegan diet are also at risk because natural food sources of B12 are primarily animal-based. Unless foods have been fortified, the important lesson is that symptoms alone cannot confirm a deficiency. Tingling, fatigue, and balance problems can have several different causes. A blood test is often the best place to begin. When a true B12 deficiency is found and corrected, nerve symptoms and strength may improve, particularly when treatment begins early. But nerve recovery can take time. In some cases, symptoms may take weeks or months to improve, and long-standing nerve damage may not be completely reversible. That is why early evaluation matters. You may have heard that B12 must be taken before bed to repair nerves overnight. There is no strong evidence that bedtime is universally better than morning. In fact, some people report that B12 makes them feel more alert. For those individuals, taking it earlier in the day may be more comfortable. The most important factors are the correct dose, the appropriate form, and consistent use when a deficiency or increased need has been identified. Standard oral B12 supplements are effective for many people, even when absorption from food has declined. Sublingual products are also available, although they are not necessarily superior for everyone. People with severe deficiency, pernicious anemia, certain gastrointestinal conditions, or significant neurological symptoms may require higher doses or B12 injections under medical supervision. The second vitamin is vitamin D. Vitamin D is often discussed in relation to bones, but its role extends beyond the skeleton. Vitamin D receptors are found in muscle tissue. An adequate vitamin D status supports normal muscle function. When vitamin D levels are very low, some people develop muscle weakness or aching. The weakness may be most noticeable in the muscles closest to the center of the body, particularly the hips and thighs. This can make it harder to rise from a low chair, climb steps, or maintain stability while walking. Vitamin D also helps the body absorb calcium, which is necessary for bone strength. This becomes increasingly important with age because a fall is more dangerous when the bones are fragile. Low vitamin D levels are relatively common among older adults. The skin becomes less efficient at producing vitamin D from sunlight as we age. People who spend limited time outdoors, cover most of their skin, live in areas with little winter sunlight, or have darker skin may produce less vitamin D. Certain digestive, liver, and kidney conditions can also affect vitamin D levels. However, more vitamin D is not always better. Vitamin D is stored in the body, and excessive supplementation can raise blood calcium to harmful levels. Too much vitamin D may cause nausea, confusion, weakness, dehydration, abnormal heart rhythms, or kidney problems. For this reason, high-dose vitamin D should not be taken casually. A blood test called 25-hydroxy-vitamin D can help determine whether you are deficient and whether supplementation is necessary. There is also no reliable rule that everyone over 60 needs the same dose. Needs vary according to blood levels, diet, sun exposure, body weight, health conditions, and medications. Vitamin D is fat-soluble, so it is generally absorbed better when taken with a meal that contains some fat. That could be breakfast, lunch, or dinner. There is no convincing evidence that everyone must take vitamin D immediately before sleep. Some people prefer taking it earlier because they find it easier to remember. Others include it with their evening meal. Consistency matters more than choosing a special hour. Vitamin D can support muscle and bone health when a deficiency is corrected, but it should not be presented as a treatment that rapidly rebuilds leg muscle on its own. Muscle tissue requires a physical reason to become stronger. That reason is resistance. Simple activities such as repeated chair stands, supported heel raises, step-ups, and resistance band exercises can stimulate the muscles far more directly than a supplement. Vitamin D may help normal muscle function, but exercise provides the signal that tells the body to preserve and build strength. The third nutrient is vitamin K, particularly vitamin K2. Vitamin K is best known for its role in normal blood clotting. It also helps activate proteins involved in bone metabolism. Vitamin K1 is found mainly in green vegetables such as spinach, kale, broccoli, and cabbage. Vitamin K2 is found in certain fermented foods, some cheeses, eggs, and animal products. The exact amount varies depending on how food is produced and prepared. Vitamin K2 has received significant attention because it activates proteins such as osteocalcin, which is involved in bone mineralization, and matrix GLA protein, which helps regulate calcium in tissues. This has led to interest in whether K2 supplements can improve bone health or reduce inappropriate calcium accumulation. The biology is interesting, but the claims often go far beyond what clinical evidence can currently support. Vitamin K2 should not be described as a proven method for reversing years of muscle loss, reactivating muscle memory, or quickly restoring weak legs. Research is still developing, and the evidence for direct improvements in muscle strength is not as established as many supplement advertisements suggest. Vitamin K may still be important for overall health, particularly as part of a balanced diet, but it is not appropriate to assume that every older adult needs a K2 supplement. There is also an important safety issue. Vitamin K can interfere with warfarin and other vitamin K antagonist medications. People taking these drugs should not suddenly increase, decrease, or supplement vitamin K without discussing it with a healthcare professional managing their medication. For someone taking warfarin, consistency in vitamin K intake is especially important. You may also hear that vitamin D and vitamin K2 must always be taken together. They are involved in related aspects of calcium and bone metabolism, but that does not mean every person who takes vitamin D automatically requires a separate K2 supplement. The decision should be based on diet, medical history, medication use, and professional advice rather than a one-size-fits-all supplement routine. So, where does this leave us? Vitamin B12, vitamin D, and vitamin K all contribute to systems that affect mobility. B12 supports nerves and red blood cells. Vitamin D supports bone health and normal muscle function. Vitamin K supports normal clotting and activates proteins involved in bone metabolism. But these vitamins only provide meaningful benefit when your body actually needs them. If your levels are already adequate, taking additional supplements is unlikely to transform your leg strength. In some cases, unnecessary supplementation can create new problems. A safer approach begins with paying attention to your symptoms. If you are experiencing numbness, tingling, burning feet, unusual fatigue, worsening balance, or progressive weakness, schedule a medical evaluation. Ask whether your symptoms could be related to vitamin B12 deficiency, vitamin D deficiency, anemia, diabetes, thyroid problems, medication effects, or another underlying condition. Blood testing can provide useful information, but the physical examination matters as well. A clinician may assess your reflexes, sensation, gait, muscle strength, circulation, and balance. Once you know what is actually contributing to the problem, you can respond more effectively. Nutrition is one part of that response. Try to include adequate protein throughout the day. Muscles require amino acids to repair and maintain tissue. Eggs, fish, poultry, dairy products, beans, lentils, tofu, and lean meats can all contribute. Many older adults eat very little protein at breakfast and lunch, then try to consume most of it at dinner. Spreading protein across meals may provide more regular support for muscle maintenance. Hydration also matters. Dehydration can contribute to fatigue, dizziness, low blood pressure, and muscle cramps. However, fluid needs differ, especially for people with heart failure, kidney disease, or conditions requiring fluid restriction. Those individuals should follow the guidance of their healthcare team. Movement is equally important. Long periods of sitting send a clear message to the body that large, powerful leg muscles are no longer required. Over time, the body responds by reducing muscle size and strength. You do not need an intense gym program to begin reversing that signal. Start with a stable chair. Sit near the front. Place your feet firmly on the floor. Lean forward slightly and stand using your legs. Sit down slowly and with control. At first, you may need to use your hands. That is perfectly acceptable. The goal is to practice safely and improve gradually. You can also perform heel raises while holding a counter, gentle marching in place, or short walks spread throughout the day. Balance training is valuable as well. Standing with your feet closer together near a stable support can challenge your balance system. A physical therapist can design a safer and more personalized program if you have already fallen. Use a walking aid or feel unsteady. Sleep completes the picture. Your body performs important recovery work during sleep, but sleep does not replace activity, nutrition, or medical treatment. It supports those efforts. Instead of focusing on a specific bedtime supplement ritual, build a routine that supports the entire system. Eat balanced meals. Take prescribed medications and recommended supplements consistently. Stay physically active. Make your home safer by improving lighting, securing loose rugs, and installing handrails where needed. Wear supportive footwear and have your vision checked regularly. These steps may sound less dramatic than taking 3 vitamins before bed, but they are far more likely to protect your mobility and independence over time. Weak legs are not a personal failure, and they are not something you should simply ignore. They are a signal. Sometimes that signal points to inactivity and muscle loss. Sometimes it points to a nutritional deficiency. Sometimes it reveals a medical condition that deserves attention. The right response is not fear. It is careful investigation followed by consistent action. If you are considering vitamin B12, vitamin D, or vitamin K2, begin by reviewing your symptoms, diet, medications, and medical history with a qualified healthcare professional. Do not take large doses simply because a supplement is labeled natural. Natural substances can still cause side effects, interact with medications, or become harmful in excessive amounts. And remember this: the strongest legs are not built by vitamins alone, they are supported by good nutrition, challenged by regular movement, protected by balance training, and guided by appropriate medical care. Your ability to stand, walk, and move confidently is central to your independence. It deserves more than a quick promise or a bottle of pills. Give it a thoughtful plan, and give that plan time to work.